Today we're going to be talking about how to calculate the surface area of a cylinder. When you think about a cylinder, we need to consider what does this look like if we were to break this apart into the shapes that make up the outside of a cylinder. We need to ask ourselves what shapes make up this 3D object and how many are there. If I look at this visual here, I can see that there's going to be two circles that need to be pulled apart. So the first thing we need to do is find the area of the circles. The next thing we're going to need to do is to find the area of the rectangle. We're going to do this by calculating the circumference, which is 2 pi r. We're going to use that as the length of our rectangle and use the height of the rectangle to calculate the area of that rectangle. So a cylinder is made up of two circles and a rectangle formed by the circumference and the height of the cylinder. Please refer to this visual if you need some help trying to figure out what you need to do. So if I look at this cylinder right here, what I know I'm going to have to do is calculate the area of two circles. So I know I'm going to have to find the circle area, and I'm going to have to deal with rectangles, or with a rectangle rather, I'm sorry. So if I think about the circles, I know a circle has a formula of pi r squared. I'm going to look at my cylinder and notice that I have an r. Please make sure you notice if you have a radius or a diameter. If it is a diameter, you're going to need to split it in half. Because this is a radius, I know I can just use that value there. So I'm going to go pi 3 squared, and I'm going to keep all of my answers in terms of pi until the very end. That way I don't have to deal with as many messy decimals. So right now, this area represents one circle. There are two circles in this cylinder that I need to cover, so I'm going to need to multiply this by 2 to get my total circle area, which is going to be 18 pi. This leads to here. So I've got my circles covered. Now I need to be able to calculate my rectangle area. Now if you recall from the visual, the first thing you need to do to find the area of a rectangle is to find the circumference. We're talking about this entire distance around the outside of this circle. So if you look at your reference sheet, you notice that circumference is equal to 2 pi r or pi d. Either of those are options to calculate the circumference because 2 times the radius would be the diameter. I have a radius, I'm going to use this formula, 2 pi times 3. Keeping things in terms of pi, I have 6 pi. Using the associative property, I can multiply different pieces together in different orders. So my circumference is 6 pi. That's great, but the area of my rectangle is length times width. 6 pi is the length. The width of my rectangle comes from the height of my cylinder. So I'm going to take 6 pi times 7, which is 42 pi. This is the area of my rectangle. To finish the problem, I need to find the total area. So my total surface area is going to be my two circles plus my rectangle. My two circles were 9 pi each. When I multiplied them by 2, we got 18 pi. Added to my rectangle of 42 pi. 18 plus 42 is 60 pi. This is one way to write your answer, kilometers squared. I could also write my answer by multiplying 60 times pi, using my values, 60 times pi, making sure my mode is correct. 60 times pi is 188 point, rounding to 2 decimal places, 50 kilometers square, because we're talking about surface area. If you round earlier, there's the potential here or here to round in a way that would make this off by 1 or 2 decimal places. Please keep everything in terms of pi until you add them together at the end. These are like terms, you can put them together. This is a complicated process, If you follow your work and your steps, you will be correct. Please watch this video as often as you need to. This is question 1 already done for you. You need to complete the other 5. If you get 1 wrong, that's okay. If you miss more than 1, you need to go back and do paper B. Good luck.